Hey guys, I decided to do something a little bit different and get into my comic book side of things. If you guys didn't know, I love comics. But wait, real quick, little side note. This video will be heavily inspired by Comics Explained slash Geek Culture Explained, which are, by the way, great channels. I will leave them in the description so you can check it out if you guys don't know where to start with Marvel or DC Comics, or if you guys just wanted to learn a little bit of something. Definitely go check out Rob. He's an amazing content creator. Anyway, let's get back to the video. If you guys didn't know, I'm actually a huge Marvel fan and kind of a DC fan, but we don't really talk about that. But I'm sorry. But DC, you got a mess going on. I mean, Ezra, you got Justice League lineup. Like y'all kind of lack it. You guys are weird. Anyway, I love Marvel comics. My favorite comic book character of all time is Eddie Brock. Eddie, bro, let me let me tell you something. Eddie Brock is my fucking goat, bro. He's literally my fucking goat. Oh my god, literally, this game called Web of Shadows, Spider-Man Web of Shadows. Literally, this game blew my fucking mind, man. I loved it, bro. Symbiote Wolverine, Electro, bro. They even made fucking Vulture cool. Vulture's never fucking cool, bro. Like, bro. If, I don't care what anybody says. Insomniac Spider-Man 2, like that game, bro. They're gonna use fucking Web of Shadows as the blueprint. I swear to God, because Web of Shadows is literally the best. I dare say Marvel game of all time. I don't give a fuck about it. Just fuck you, Marvel vs. Capcom. Fuck you, Marvel's Avengers, and definitely fuck you, Guardians of the Galaxy. This game is the best Spider-Man game of all time. Anyway. But legit, that game was one of my favorite games, and was my first introductions to symbiotes and the Venom mythos at all. Like, just from there, I went on to loving Venom content. Like, anything Venom, anything Eddie Brock, I loved. Right, from the wee age of 5 to like now, I'm 20, about to turn 21, and Venom's still my favorite Marvel character, Marvel hero of all time. And the absolute best was Donny Cates' run on Venom and King in Black. Fucking peak Marvel. Let me tell you something, bro. Or like Rob would say, man, let me tell you something, man. Bro, if Jesus Christ was writing Marvel comics, that's what it was. It was, bro. Let me chill. As a fan of Venom, and with Gore entering the MCU, I wanted to talk about Eddie's fit in Marvel or in the MCU movies. So let's see how it goes. And real quick, Mr. Feige cast me as Eddie Brock. Anyway, okay. Let me tell you. All right. With Phase 4 hitting its halfway point with Love and Thunder, or I think it's about to be coming to its close by the end of this year, early next year. The Love and Thunder is anything after Love and Thunder is really up in the air at this point. And even though the movie was a comedy, mixed between action and comedy, I feel it was the most important part of the MCU because of little something called the Necro Sword, or All Black the Necro Sword. You see Gore the God Butcher in that film. His story plays out basically the same. Guy lives on planet that's basically shit. There's literally no other way to put it. But some terrible shit happened to his family members, and died. And they died, and he lacked faith, only to be confirmed that the gods exist. But then he realized they didn't really give a shit about what happened on the planet. His people suffered. He picks up the All Black Sword. We go from there. That's basically his entire story. If you really want to know more, just watch Love and Thunder. If you haven't at this point, I strongly urge that you watch it. Anyway, but the best part of the Necro Sword is who it originally belonged to. It belonged to Null, the symbiote god. And bro, that is huge. Now, if you watch the film, you can see the monsters that Gore makes. The shadow monsters, low key actually look like they're made out of symbiotes, or look like the shadow monsters that like the dragons, the symbiote dragons that Null made when he invaded Earth, and yeah, even before then when he originally attacked. So here's what I'm saying. Null definitely exists in the MCU. And with Null existing, means that maybe, just maybe, Marvel's building up to King in Black. And that's insane. If Marvel's building up to King in Black, this is gonna be even bigger than Endgame, even bigger than any story that they could come up with, aside from like 2015 Secret Wars, which is what they're definitely building up to right now. But this is legit a huge ass story. It's big, it's girthy, it's huge. Sorry for using the word girthy. So what does this have to do with Eddie? Well, Eddie's the main character in the King in Black storyline during Donny Cates' run. Is Donny Cates' run on Venom all the way to King in Black. Eddie is the main character. So my hope is that he can be the best anti-hero writing in the history of film cinema, similar to how they did Zuko in Avatar: The Last Airbender. And of course, as me playing as him. Miss Sarah Finn, please cast me. Me as Eddie Brock, thank you. Okay, anyway, so to get to Null, I'm saying we need that build-up, the same kind of build-up that we had with Thanos. Now, Marvel's doing this weird thing, well, not weird, but definitely needed to happen, where each character, it seems that they're separating into their own things. Yes, they'll come all back together in Secret Wars, but it doesn't seem like everything is building up to Secret Wars. Sure, Spider-Man definitely did, and definitely Doctor Strange, WandaVision, Loki, those are all connected, definitely. But when it comes to characters like Captain America or even Black Widow, Hawkeye, those characters have nothing to do with the multiverse. They're street level characters. And the Thunderbolt storyline definitely has nothing to do with what's going on with the multiverse. In fact, I'm willing to bank my entire channel that they'll probably have nothing to do until they run into a character like Doctor Strange or Wanda, because the multiverse doesn't really have anything to do with those characters. It's not necessary. So here's what I'm saying. To get to Null, we need a build up, but in his own personal story with Venom, Spider-Man, and the other street level characters. Now, Venom would work better as a 6-movie franchise, but with the MCU, we know that most characters are pressed for time, with the exceptions being Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. They got their first 3 movies within the first 10 years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but that's because they're the big 3. They're the big heavy hitters. I am sorry to the Hulk. He deserved better. Let's be honest. Anyway, so I think we start with a movie, but it won't be the origin story. That will be in the Tom Holland Spider-Man film. As we all know, at the end of No Way Home, we got the end credit scene with Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock being sent to his original dimension or universe, leaving behind a little bit of the Venom symbiote, just a little speck. So let's say we go with the original version of Secret Wars in, I think, 1983 or 1984. On Secret Wars, or in Secret Wars, on Battle World, Peter's suit gets pretty messed up in the fray of the battle. I don't remember how it did, but it did. So he goes and tries to find a way to fix it, and he stumbles upon what he thinks is a fabrication machine, but turns out to be a holding unit for the Venom symbiote. Don't know how he got there. I don't remember how it got there. I don't know if that's ever explained. Anyway, let's say that happens. And Peter goes back to Earth with the black suit. Now he has a fresh new look in Spider-Man 4 or 5, which will hopefully be named Spectacular Spider-Man. I think that would be great, or Friendly Neighborhood, but one can only hope. Spider-Man 4 will be Spider-Man 4 or 5 will be Tom Holland's black suit arc, and eventually he'll go to the Fantastic Four, figure out that his suit is alive and the parasite, and then you know what happens from there. He goes to the church, rings the bell, the suit comes off of him. But before then, this will be a perfect time to show the Fantastic Four and Tom's relationship, or the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man's relationship, and he'll talk to Reed about the suit. Reed will be like, oh, yo, that's alive, and then tell him to get rid of the suit because it's a parasite. Of course, Peter's gonna just put it in the closet, think it's safe, and then just leave it at that. But then he wakes up with the suit. Then what I said just happens. He rings the bell on top of the church. During this arc, what's important is that he meets Eddie Brock at the Daily Bugle. Now, I feel like they're gonna definitely hate each other at first, definitely. And this will be at around the beginning or mid parts of the movie, where Peter's just being an asshole to Eddie and Eddie's being an asshole to Peter. They were both assholes. during this time. Eventually, Peter gets Eddie fired, just like it does, and that's just like it happens in Spider-Man 3. And then Eddie goes down his downward spiral, hits rock bottom, and then ends up at the same church where Peter's getting rid of the suit at the same time. Both the symbiote and Eddie feel a mutual feeling of rejection and connect. Now Eddie goes forth as Venom. Now hear me out, because this is where things might get weird. Now one would think Eddie would be the villain of the rest of the film, but I believe that he should be an anti-hero for the rest of the film. And here's why. I feel like, personally, after Tom Hardy's run on Venom, it would be too soon to just run back to the villainous ways of Venom, even though they really didn't show it. They only showed two opposite sides of the spectrum. They showed Eddie being a funny, goofy hero in Tom Hardy's films, and then in the old Sam Raimi films in Spider-Man 3, they showed that version of Venom being just evil, just plain evil. It is what it is, and he died. There's no redeeming that character. He's gone. But what I think is that at first Eddie will be seen as a villain, but really he's only going after Peter Parker, trying to get vengeance on Peter Parker. In the middle or in near the ending climax, Eddie will realize the error of his ways. Now, before you all groan, because I feel like 6 people just clicked off the video, because Marvel Phase 4 it has had a problem of just letting their villains live, or letting their villains see the error of their ways and just leaving, or just dying or sacrificing themselves. No, I feel like Eddie should be able to do this, but there should be another villain in the film. I feel like it should be Hobgoblin or maybe Mr. Negative. And they're put in a situation where Eddie and Peter had to be working together in order to defeat him. Them. Like, perfect example, let's say Feast is attacked, and I don't know, Eddie has an uncle that lives there, and he's trying to protect his uncle while also like helping Peter, because Peter of course has a reason to protect Feast. That's where his Aunt May worked. Anyway, so Venom and Spidey will have their little squabbles in the middle of the film. Of course, they have their one fight, and then they go their separate ways, and then come back together at the end. But because their objectives align at the end, Eddie will help take care of Hobby or Mr. Negative, or Venom and Eddie will try to leave at the end after the conflict, but will get arrested by, let's say, damage control, pushing them further down rock bottom. Now, this will definitely be important, because I feel like this could lead to Venom joining the Thunderbolts. Now, Thunderbolts has been teased for quite some time. Marvel's been teasing it since Black Widow, I think. The first time we see Valentina, or whatever her name is, Fontaine, that's all I remember, pulling a whole Nick Fury and trying to recruit anti-heroes like Yelena. And also she did the same with, I think his name is John Walker, a US agent. Going forth, of course, Eddie will get a way out of the Thunderbolts after the film, because it's going to be a Suicide Squad-esque film, but there's no way they're keeping all the roster. There's no way they're keeping the rosters. Going from there, I feel like we should get a way for him to briefly lose the symbiote. And I know this is going to get a lot of people to click off, but to somehow go to the MCU's Flash Thompson. Now, hear me out. I don't like him either. He's not Flash to me. He's not Flash. But we need Agent Venom. We definitely do. Okay, we need Agent Venom. Anyway, when he gets the symbiote, of course, Eddie's not going to be happy about it. But both of them, I feel like it would be great to see them bouncing back and forth, trying to obtain the symbiote, and the symbiote being like the girl in between. You know, the weird love triangle-esque type beat for the three of them. But eventually the film will end with Flash Thompson getting the anti-Venom symbiote and going forth as Agent Anti-Venom, and Venom still being Eddie Brock. Here's why. I feel like if we give Flash the symbiote for too long, Eddie's gonna fall into obscurity, and it's gonna be weird, especially if Flash becomes more popular as Agent Venom, and it'll make things complicated. And we all know the MCU favors simplicity. And the only other solution would be just getting rid of Eddie altogether. But we need Eddie for this, so let's just carry on with Flash Thompson being anti Venom and Venom being Eddie Brock. Continuing on, I feel like Flash would be very good in a buddy cop type thing with Eddie, because I think that they definitely would have a respect for each other. If I remember correctly, Venom Volume 4, number 8, he literally goes to Eddie goes to Flash's grave, and bro, he literally says that the Venom symbiote sees him as better, and Eddie somewhat agrees. Like, Flash was a hero to look up to, and Eddie wasn't. Flash was everything Eddie thought he wasn't, and he hated being seen as number 2 in everyone's eyes compared to Flash, but that's what it was. And I feel like that's the same for some readers. Like, before this, like, Agent Venom was really popular, and was always seen as more popular than Eddie Brock during his run around in Marvel, but eventually Eddie Brock took back to the scene, and he became more popular again. He hopped out of obscurity. But correct me if I'm wrong, of course, because I don't know that for sure. I just remember Agent Venom being more popular than Eddie at some point, or Venom at some point. But I remember that Flash also has a major respect for Eddie as well. It's not just a one-way street. He literally, in the symbiote hive mind, says that Eddie needs to. It's in the same issue. Eddie needs to stop talking down to himself, because he is a hero. He deserves to be called a hero for all he's done, especially like trying to protect his son from Nolan's, trying to stop this whole King in Black story from happening. But it eventually happens. Eddie definitely didn't deserve to be called a hero, but in his eyes, but he definitely earned it. And I feel like that would be great, especially in this, because, well, it's Eddie and Flash. A real brothers in arms type of look will definitely tug at the heartstrings of the audience, and I think that will look great in the MCU. But keep Flash in mind. Flash is important for later, but at the end of it, I feel like at the end of this, hopefully a Disney Plus series, Venom will go on to do his own thing on Earth, but Agent Venom goes to space. But we'll go back to that later. Of course, after Venom and Agent Venom show, I feel like Eddie should probably get his own film, and it should be a retelling of Lethal Protector, which is one of the best Venom stories of all time. Which will reunite him and Spidey, of course, but this time Spidey will be working more as a supporting character. I want this film to really dive into Eddie's past and show that he has old axes to grind and old flaws that he's still dealing with to this day, especially introduce his father into the picture. Like, this would be great, because Eddie's father and Eddie have a very complicated relationship, let me tell you, but I won't spoil it. Legit, it would be cool to see the Life Foundation symbiotes, and oh my god, when I saw them as a kid, they were so cool. Like Scream, the other guys, I definitely thought they were really cool. Just imagine Venom and Spidey just for the whole film, just getting jumped by a bunch of symbiotes. Like, Tom Holland would probably be freaking out the entire film, and I think that would be hilarious to see. I think that would be great. This will lead up to Eddie being seen more as a hero by not just everyone, but most importantly, Peter. This is important for later on in King in Black, which we will talk about later. It would leave them with a newfound respect for each other. I think that the most important part about this would be the end credit scene. Now, the end credit scene would be great if it would show a boy at Eddie's father's house after the whole ordeal, because we're diving into Eddie's past. Right? Eddie doesn't see his father, but I know that in the story Peter does. But let's continue. We're at Eddie's father's house, and we see a little boy playing, and we hear Eddie's father call out to him and call him Dylan. With that being said, guys, I'm sorry to end it here, but we are running a little bit long, and this is just something I wanted to try out, something a little light. and I didn't want to put Zach through pain. He's always through pain. Like my editor, he's always in pain. You're doing great, buddy. I thank you for doing this. uh, um, but we will continue in a later part. Hopefully, we'll be out soon. We definitely have a lot more to talk about. We'll dive into Agent Venom and how he fits into the whole equation, and we'll get into the null stuff definitely in the next part. But it'll only be 2 parts. So if you guys like this, please leave a like. It's not gonna kill you. It's not gonna kill you for the like, and we shall continue with the Marvel content, definitely for sure. Anyway, with that being said, guys, I'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Peace.
And now it turns to a weapon, a weapon.